Are you a K-12 public or private school teacher in Marion and Polk County with an idea for a school or classroom project you would love to make happen and think would have an impact? Well, MAPS Community Foundation wants to hear from you. Hello, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw. MAPS Credit Union's 2024 Teacher Grant Program starts October 1st, and teacher can apply through October 31st, with winners announced later in November. This year, a total of $50,000 will be awarded in $500 to $1,000 grant awards to K-12 public and private school teachers who are MAPS members in Marion and Polk counties. Well, what sort of projects have won in previous years? We'll show you one. And how has this Teacher Grants program become such a community builder? Well, to tell us all about that, with me today is Kim Hanson, Executive Director of MAPS Community Foundation. Welcome to InSight.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's so nice to meet you, because when I first learned about the Teacher Grant Program, I was thinking, look at these ideas, look at this is so innovative and fun, and it has had an impact so far, so I wanted to know all about it. MAPS has a long history helping teachers, going back, what, over 80 years?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we started in 1935 as a credit union here in Salem. We started at what is now North Salem High School, and we started with just over 20 teachers who came together to pool their resources. So MAPS, you know, our formal name is Marion and Polk Schools Credit Union, but we now go by MAPS, but we still have our roots with teachers and educators in our region.
And when did the MAPS Community Foundation begin, your charitable giving arm?
Yes, well, we've always done charitable projects really since our beginning. The credit union movement, you know, we're a nonprofit financial cooperative, and our movement was really founded on the idea of people helping people. So the credit union has always given back to the community and supported its members. We started the foundation in 2010 and actually became our own 501c3 nonprofit in 2012. So we've been growing our community giving work since then, and through doing most of our community giving work through the foundation.
Do you have some key partners in that?
Well, we have a 7-member board that, you know, works closely with me, and we have lots of community partners out throughout the region. We have most of our members, and we've grown from the 20 back in 1935 to about 78,000 members now. And we have both individual members and business members, and so given just our size now and everywhere we are in the region, our giving is focused in Marion and Polk counties because that's where the majority of our members live. And we have so many partners. I mean, we have partners in all of the school districts, private and public schools. We have lots of community partner organizations, many local nonprofits that we fund through various programs that we do, grant programs, sponsorship programs. So we are very connected in the community, and we support a lot of the great work that is happening in our region.
Well, you've been there as executive director for several years now. What excites you about what it does? You get up every day and have to deal with this.
Yes, that is such a great question. Well, this is the first time I've actually worked at a financial institution, and so my background is really in the nonprofit sector. I worked at several food banks and doing philanthropy and grant writing. So coming into this space, I think what just excites me is that the credit union and our team, we're just so focused on having a positive impact in the community, and that's both through what we do as a credit union, but through the work our foundation gets to do. And I think what just gets me up and excited in the morning is just the difference that we can make through small and large gifts. I mean, it doesn't take much, to give a small grant to a teacher and really make a difference in their classroom or the school, or to give a small grant to a nonprofit. We've also done some larger grants and gotten to see the impact of those grants. And so I think just that difference that we can make as individuals and businesses in the community, and seeing that difference is what really makes me excited.
What are your core values?
Well, when I started in 2020, so this is my 5th year directing the foundation, we really revisited our plans for the foundation, and we redesigned our strategic plan and came up with our 3 key focus areas. We'd obviously given given the history of the credit union, always given to education, and we'd also done a lot of work around financial literacy, but we broadened to include community vibrancy so that we could fund more projects even outside of the space of education and financial education and literacy. So it's exciting to have those 3 focus areas because we can just do so much under each of them, and education still continues to be our main focus. But our core values around community and impact and equity and integrity and leadership, they all tie into the day-to-day work, that we do with our programs. And I think really that focuses on that community impact. I will say under equity, we're very intentional about giving not just in the city of Salem-Keizer, but to give to our rural communities. We fund throughout Marion and Polk counties. So our teacher grant program that's coming up, we'll give teacher grants here in Salem-Keizer, and then we'll also give grants out in rural Marion and Polk County and to private schools as well. And the other part that is important to me as a leader is that all of our programs are available, accessible, that there's equitability in our fund distribution. So all of our programs are on our website. People can apply for a teacher grant there. They can apply for a sponsorship there. So it's very important that all of our community has access to our programs and an opportunity to ask us to be a partner.
Are you intrigued by the idea of how the teacher grants are being used these days? Because I saw so many examples of the way the teachers have used the grant money that's come to them. Can you give me some examples? We're going to show one, but can you give me some examples of where they're going with that money? When they get a grant, $500, $1,000, what do they do with it?
Sure, I would love to share that. It's been so exciting to go out in the community and see the projects in action. We deliver each of the teacher grants in person and surprise the teacher. So we not only have learned about what they're going to do through their application, but we get to go out and meet each of them and learn even more about what they're going to utilize the funds for. And it's so incredible the difference that $500 to $1,000 can make for a teacher to be able to implement one of their creative ideas or something that they just really would love to see happen in their classroom or school.
How are the winners chosen? Is there kind of a way that you select these and kind of say what qualifies as a winning idea?
Yes.
What kind of criteria?
Right. It's exciting how we make the selections because actually what I do is we bring in all the applications from throughout Marion and Polk counties, and again, public and private school teachers K through 12 are eligible to apply. And the applications come in and I actually divide them by geography, and our branch teams at each of our 10 branches receive the teacher applications that are closest to their branch, and our teams from tellers to financial service specialists to managers at that branch all sit down together, review the applications, and select the winners. The group that reviews the teacher applications is looking for innovative projects. They're looking for much needed projects, gaps where maybe the teacher or the school doesn't have access to other funding to fund that important project. So they're looking at the quality of the project that comes in and the impact it will have on the school, the students, our community. And so they're looking at all of that criteria. We also only offer one grant per school. So sometimes we get multiple grants from one school, and there's a really tough decision-making process to figure out at that school which project rises to the top. We receive so many valuable applications and just incredible projects that it would be wonderful to fund them all, which unfortunately we can't do, but the ones that we fund we know are just making such a big difference for students and the schools and the teachers.
We have a video that you've given me of one of them. Tell us about it.
Yes, that was an incredible project. The teacher, David Wetzel, out at Scott Elementary, had designed this incredible program, this Mileage Club program, that he put into place post-pandemic. He realized a lot of his students at the elementary school, he's the physical education PE teacher, he realized a lot of students had been sitting a lot and not getting a lot of exercise. So he created this incredible program that really isn't just for the students. The teachers participate, the whole school participates, and through this Mileage Club program, they go out and do laps and get recorded in terms of how many laps or miles they've done throughout the school year, and then at different stages get incentives. And so through our teacher grant program, we were able to fund a lot of those incentives that he gives out and to help him do those extras for the program to make it even more exciting for the students and the school to participate.
Well, why don't we let this teacher and some of the students tell that story?
That'd be great.
Let's take a look.
Each year, MAPS Community Foundation awards 25 $1,000 teacher grants for special projects that make a difference for students. Join us as we highlight Scott Elementary School in Northeast Salem and Mr. Wetzel's incredible Mileage Club program.
We noticed when kids came back from being out of school because of COVID, we had a lot of kids that were out of shape. And through the help of our administration, got some equipment that we could use iPads, and I just kind of created a cart and we just put it into action. They flash their QR code in front of the iPads and it records their mileage. And then at the end of the week, I can see who's met certain Mileage Club benchmarks. And on our display over here, we have all the staff and students who have met those goals so far this year.
I do like running a lot. I like to burn my energy so I could get more foots, more necklaces. Right now, I have 28.4 miles.
Teachers come to me and say, you know what, my class needed a reset because they're just not focusing. So I took them out and gave them some time to do some Mileage Club. They came back and they were more energized, they're more focused. Some of those kids are resistant to do things, but getting them out to de-escalate some of their behaviors has been a tremendous benefit for those students. We really appreciate MAP's contribution. Your resources that you've donated to us have allowed me to buy lanyards, allowed me to buy some other incentives thanks to your funding. One of the things we're using some of those funds for is end of the year celebration for students who've participated, because we have a lot of kids and staff up on the wall so far this year, and they're having fun getting out there and trying to be healthy.
I think what's incredible is, I mentioned we surprised the teachers with the teacher grants, and I think what's incredible is to see how excited their students are to see them receive a teacher grant. And there's so many moments where we pop in to surprise the teacher and the kids are just cheering and they're so excited for their teacher in their classroom. And so you just know that when the teacher uses those funds to buy the books and they get to remember that it was because of that teacher grant, that's just so exciting for them. And so just seeing the kids cheer, and honestly cheering at every level, elementary, middle, high school, the excitement from some of the high school students when I delivered a teacher grant last year to the Latino club that meets after school at South Salem High School, and they were just so proud of their teacher that leads that club. So just so many moments just where teachers are very moved to receive these funds, but the students who are present, so excited.
And it shows in the video.
We have funded so many different projects, and that's the real beauty of the program, is the range, funding elementary school, middle school, high school projects. And we funded multiple calm rooms in our community, which especially post-pandemic, teachers were realizing there was a lot of stress on their students. And so these calm rooms now exist in multiple schools throughout our region, elementary, middle, and high school. And at South Salem High School, we were able to give a $1,000 grant for furnishings for that calm room. And what happens, which is so meaningful, is that not only do groups meet in there to provide support, counselors lead groups in those calm rooms, but students can come in and just take a little break during the day. So rather than maybe going home, because they're experiencing a little bit of stress, they come into this calm room, they reset, and then they're able to go back into the classroom. And that has really helped with attendance at South Salem High School. And so we funded a few calm rooms. We've also funded a ukulele club at an elementary school. We funded an art project, a big mural that went up out at Turner Elementary. We funded a Mexican folkloric dance program at an elementary up
what
in
fun.
Woodburn. So the projects have really run the gamut, from actual hands-on teaching supplies that teachers need to flexible seating in elementary school classrooms for kids who just have the wiggles, to art projects, like I mentioned, to comm rooms. So we really get a wide range of applications, and that's what's exciting, is to be able to fund such a diversity of incredible projects that are making a difference.
I know that teachers, being generous and also very thoughtful, have dug into their own pockets in years past to do these kinds of things. But, this is something that is a wonderful way for the whole community to benefit. And does it give you any ideas for how education is going to be delivered in the future? Just these kinds of grant programs that help teachers get things that really help their kids with schools and advance and enhance the schools. Do you think there's some possibility that these things could be kind of a permanent part of what schools can rely on?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic question. And I think that, for one, I just want to celebrate the teachers in our community for a minute. They do such a phenomenal job. And I feel like the last few years, have been fairly stressful for them with the pandemic and funding cuts and other challenges that have come up. And I just feel like day in and day out, our teachers just so deserve to be celebrated for what they are doing for our young people in our community. So this program is a great way to really support their creative ideas and, the innovative ideas they have for their classrooms or schools. And I think it's also having this teacher grant program, I've realized that a little bit goes a long way. So $500 or $1,000 can really make the difference for having, the books that classroom teacher really wants, that are going to get those kids excited about reading, or having hands-on projects to teach about math. Or I'm thinking of the McKay High School AP Science class that got to go to the Hatfield Science Center with funding from this teacher grant program to go on that field trip that they couldn't have accessed otherwise. And so you think about $500 to $1,000 and the difference it can make. And so it would be really fantastic. It's wonderful to have our foundation and MAPS Credit Union supporting the teacher grants, but you can imagine if we were able to do more at each of the schools in our region, just what a difference that makes. To be able to fund every one of these projects each year would be incredible.
I want to know a little bit more about your other grant programs and what you do. Community sponsorships, that sounds intriguing. What is that?
Yes, that's a great question. Well, community sponsorships is actually one of our largest giving areas. We support anywhere from 65 to 75 local nonprofit organizations each year with anywhere from $500 to $5,000, and we support events that they're doing. I just was able to attend the Liberty House's Champions for Children luncheon yesterday, and we supported that event. So we support many events that nonprofits are doing to raise funds and sustain their good work. And then we also, through that program, do some small program sponsorship grants. And so we will fund some program supplies that may be needed. And so all of those sponsorships, we give about $100,000 a year in sponsorships, but we are giving to a wide range of nonprofit organizations in Marion and Polk County, and again, both urban and rural. So lots of great organizations are getting support through our sponsorships.
We have so many nonprofits in our area. I showcase them so often, but I'm always finding new ones.
Yes.
There are small ones out there that are really working hard to do good things.
There are so many, and I think that is one of the things that we are very intentional about. We have some really long-standing partnerships with some of the bigger organizations that are doing fabulous work that everyone's familiar with, but we've also discovered some really small nonprofits, and some of those we've discovered through a program that we ran the last few years called MAPS Community Awards, where we recognized exceptional volunteerism out in our community and community involvement. And so through that, I discovered some very small nonprofits that were not on my radar, and that was very exciting to fund some of them as well. So we really do, like I said, encourage everybody to reach out to us who's doing great work in the region, who is a nonprofit. We also fund schools, of course, through our education focus area, but it's great to be able to support organizations from the very small to the larger ones. Everyone is doing something to give back and have a tremendous impact.
You recall the Sandy Am fire?
Yes.
2020, just devastating. Communities just lost so much in a wide area. Mm-hmm. You have something called the Wildfire Survivor Loan Fund. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I'd be very happy to talk about that. It was a really difficult, 2020 was just such a difficult year. We did both a COVID relief fund through the MAPS Community Foundation, and then in 2020, when the fires hit, we knew that many of our members had been impacted. We have a branch out in Staten, and we have many members that live up the Sandy Am Canyon. And so we really overnight decided to launch a wildfire relief fund. And we actually had over 40 employees volunteer their time to call or reach out to all of our members that lived up the canyon. And we contributed $50,000 from the MAPS Community Foundation, and we presented a challenge to our membership to match that. And it's really emotional because within 2 weeks, our members gave more than $50,000. So we were able to have over $100,000 that we gave out in small amounts to our members that had been impacted by the fires. And this funding made such a difference because while survivors were waiting for insurance and other supports to kick in, they needed funding for hotel rooms, for clothing, for gas. And so our funds, we gave $500 to each member that we reached out to that we knew had been impacted. And so those funds were distributed really quickly and immediately went to help families. And it was just so beautiful because we had over 700 members give to that fund, and it ranged from young people giving $10 or $20 to people giving several $100 gifts. And so it really was incredible to see our community come together around the fire. And I have continued to serve. I just stepped off of, because we just wrapped it up, I continued to serve for the last few years on the Sandy Am Canyon Wildfire Relief Fund Advisory Committee to represent us, because we really wanted to be and continue to be a long-term partner in the recovery up the canyon. And
it is a long-term recovery process. It was many people's lives changed forever, and areas devastated. That's one of the things that MAPS Community Foundation wants to empower. They have an idea of helping communities thrive. What could be better than helping people get back up on their feet faster?
Definitely. And it's interesting because we have 3 focus areas: education, economic empowerment, and vibrant communities. And you don't see emergency relief in there, but we are definitely poised and ready to step up as needed, which is why we did the COVID fund, the Wildfire Relief Fund, and we also did support to members during the ice storm of February 2021. And I'm very grateful that we have not implemented a relief program since then, but we really are committed to doing that in the future as needed.
You have to stay on top of what community needs are and have a vision going forward. Where are you now with your vision?
We are, one of the areas that I'm really looking at for the future is how we can be a bigger partner in the affordable housing space. We talked earlier about the funding that we contributed to United Way's Cottages program. And that was really exciting for our whole team, and especially our MAPS Community Foundation board. And so it's exciting to think, kind of marrying the credit union and our capabilities with lending and our charitable work with the foundation to see, how we can be an even bigger partner in forwarding more affordable housing in our community. So I'm really looking at that as an area that we may work on in the future.
Diversity and equity are really themes that are keystone in your efforts here. And they're so big because we have now a much more diverse population and just as vibrant. What are you doing to increase communication between cultures, bridge those literacy and cultural divides?
That is such a good question. And we are very focused with our giving on funding the diversity of organizations and causes in our community. And we've really been very intentional about that the last few years. And so it's been really exciting to fund some smaller organizations. Like each month I do a program at MAPS called Donuts at the Dot. We have a coffee shop called The Dot, and I invite employees to come into the coffee shop and learn about different organizations that we're supporting. And this last month, we had, it's called MONIT, and it stands for Marshallese Americans Network Interacting Together, MONIT. And they came in and just did a wonderful presentation about their work they're doing to support the Marshallese community, and our employees really appreciated learning about that. And so that's just one example of a small nonprofit serving our community and really serving a specific cultural population. But there's such a richness in our community and so much cultural diversity and so many different languages being spoken in our school district, and we are very aware of that. And MAPS is working hard to be able to serve our diverse members, but as a foundation, we're also working to really support that richness in our community and that diversity. And so it's definitely an area that we're focused on. And I serve internally on our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. And so we are just consistently looking at how we can truly represent our entire community through both, who we are as a credit union and the giving that we're doing.
What are some of the ways people can help your organization?
I am always open to talking with people about how they might like to get involved. I direct our employee community give back program, so I'm always working with our employees on ways that they can volunteer out in the community. MAPS offers a really incredible benefit where we give 24 paid hours each year to our employees to get involved with community organizations, and many employees go far beyond the 24 hours. But I have the privilege of connecting people to programs and issues, causes they might care about. So that's been a really fun way internally. But externally, I'm always open to our members reaching out to me, non-members reaching out to me. I love engaging our community in supporting the incredible work that's going on both with our nonprofits and our schools. So if anyone wants to reach out and just share a cause they care about, they want to get involved with what we're doing at the foundation, I would welcome that.
What is your email address? That's the one you always direct people to.
Yes, yeah, it's, Kim Hanson, so it's K Hanson, it's Hanson, and at mapscu.com.
And if people want to take a look at all the things that MAPS Credit Union does, including the Community Foundation, where do they go online?
Well, they can go to our website, which is www.mapscu.com, and look under the tab Community Giving, and all of our programs are there, and also all of the applications for sponsorships, impact partnership grants, teacher grant applications will be there starting October 1. So please head to our website. Everything is there.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest today on InSight, and some of these stories are pretty moving. I appreciate all you've told us about.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today on InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
The MAPS scholarship program is very important because it creates new opportunities for you, a lot of networking opportunities, and it really can get you farther in your career depending on how you want to use it. I found out about the MAPS scholarship through my teacher, Mrs. Kilgross. She told me about all the opportunities, the college credit that I can pursue, and just scholarships that come with it, and just kind of staying persistent, and that'll help me in my long-term goal. I would encourage other students in the future to apply for the MAPS scholarships just because it's just a good opportunity if you want to pursue your dreams, do it, and this will help you get to your dreams and provide so many opportunities for yourself. And my favorite thing about working in Time Branch is the people around me and to have friends with me and just awesome little family we got going. I feel some specific skills and experience I've gotten are just communication with my team, and also just being able to relate to people who are maybe coming in and getting withdrawals or doing a small talk with them, basic accounting skills, a lot of different things that you don't get to do in high school that this just creates for me.
So the MAP scholarships helps all my students tremendous. Their face lights up when they see those scholarships, and I'll say it again, like I'm very proud to be a member of MAPS Credit Union. Everything that MAPS has done for not only West Salem High School, but for all of Salem-Keizer and all of the community around. We're very fortunate to have MAPS Credit Union.
Just want to say thank you to MAPS Credit Union for giving me the opportunity to pursue my dreams, and it's going to go a long way for sure. Thank you so much.